Today we have a 5-minute ab AMRAP, all with sets of 25 to bring in the year 2025. We are going to start out with 25 crunches. Different from our usual timed videos, we are not going to put a clock on today's video, so you just keep going throughout your reps. You don't base this on time, you just base this on feeling of how you're doing during those reps, what options you are choosing, and how to keep going throughout those rounds. As you can see here, we have a few different options for the crunches. You could have your legs up and crossed just like I did, or down on the ground in that bent position. It's just all about preference and what feels right to you. Keep going throughout the 25 and then get ready for the next exercise. Next, we are going to go into flutter kicks. So go back on your elbow, kick those legs up as close as you can while keeping your chest up and try to keep those legs as straight as possible. If you need to modify, you could always bend at those knees, go a little bit slower, might not kick up quite as high. That is totally fine. Next, we're going to find ourselves in a low plank. We're going to go side to side taps. So be in that low plank position and bring that foot out how far you can while still keeping your core engaged. You could drop down to your knees if you need to. It's a fine option, or you can stay up on your toes. This one is all about the hips. We're not letting them swing back and forth just because we're moving our toe. We don't want them up. We want them nice and level and in a line. Once you are done with these 25 reps, then you are going to find yourself in a high plank. We're going to go into that high plank and we are going to go into shoulder taps. Same thing with the hips for this one. Try to keep them as still as possible. Don't let them wing side to side. And we're just tapping our opposite hand to our opposite shoulder. Like always, you can drop down to your knees if you need. It's a great option as well, but we would like you on your toes if you can. I will tell you guys that you are almost halfway through with this, all right? That was the end of round 1 for me. If you're following along with me, then you are starting off round 2 back with those crunches. One of the big things with crunches is to try to keep your back as flat as possible as you go down instead of really arching your back and using it as momentum to bring you forward. Sometimes it helps if you put your legs up with this because it challenges you to keep your back pressed down even more. But like I said in the first round, it's all about personal preference of where you want your feet or your legs for the crunches. Try not to crank up your neck. That's why I always keep my hands right behind them just to support my head a little bit more. All right, if you're still with me, I'm done with those crunches. I'm moving on to those big kicks. If you're a little bit behind me, that's totally fine. And if you're in front of me, good for you. My goal here was to try to get through 2 full rounds. Let's see if you can do it with me. And please, while we're going throughout this ab AMRAP, do not forget to breathe. It's easy for people to forget about proper breathing mechanisms while they're focusing so much on their core, but please take a minute, focus on your breath. As you can see, we are right back in that plank. Remember, we never want your hips to sag low. Want them to be pretty much in line with your shoulders the whole entire time, keeping that belly button almost pressed in an inch and up an inch to help you with that slightly rounded position. Just as a heads up, we have a little bit over a minute to go. I know your abs are burning. I know mine were at this point, but you got to keep going. Finish that 1 minute strong. If you're along with me, I am about to go into the shoulder taps in that high plank position, and then opposite hand, opposite shoulder with minimum movement. If you're really burning and you're finding it hard to get through this last minute, what you could think about is some of your New Year's commitments, your goals, your resolutions, as people call them, whatever you want to focus on in 2025. Think about that in this last minute and how this will help you get there. I just finished round number 2. I'm going to finish off the workout with these crunches. You guys are so close. Finish with me. 3, 2, 1. Nice work, everybody. If you're like me, I'm going to flip right over into a cobra press up, maybe fully on my hands. I'm sure that was hurting a little bit. Maybe go down to your elbows. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure to subscribe and tune in next week.